Nice. Let's talk a little bit about blockchain.
Okay.
Right. So blockchain is a bit also controversial because it's opening up the doors that have always been closed and allowing corruption.
Yeah.
And in Africa we just have two problems, and one problem is as a result of the other problem.
Yeah.
So our biggest problem is corruption. And
Is it
as
corruption or poverty? This is a debate.
poverty.
Corruption
Yes,
is
yes.
poverty.
It's like a chicken and egg, right? So corruption breeds poverty, right? And poverty again breeds corruption,
Yeah.
right?
Crazy.
And with blockchain, if you look at it at scale, actually can start like addressing some of these problems. And I think the way you have approached it is the right way, because it starts from, can you access finance? Because once you access finance, now you have financial freedom. You can invest, you can build businesses, you can save, and there's generational wealth created over time, right? So when you think about what you are doing and the two major problems that we face in Africa, where do you place yourself?
Right. So, so the good thing is the technology actually resolves the first issue quite well, right? Because it's internet based, it's the network is a public network. The
It's
information is
verifiable
available.
coming from a Kenyan election. It's verifiable.
It's verifiable. Yeah.
There's no errors,
It's verifiable, right? Like you mentioned. And the second, it has, I think it resolves the first problem and has a high potential of resolving the second problem. I won't say it resolves the second problem, right? Because it's just a technology. And the way assets are going to be managed over that technology,
move around.
it's a human, it's still like, these are not machines, right? We're still going to be behind the decision making. So I think it has the potential to resolve some aspects of poverty, right? Be it access to capital, access to loans. It facilitates those things, but it won't just resolve it, right? So that's kind of like my approach on it, right? If let's say voting mechanisms, record keeping, certifications, if all of those things move to the blockchain, then it's gonna be very difficult for corruption, right, to exist when that is there, right? But but this is the challenge with poverty, right? Like, yes, we can have the technology there, we can have the assets there, but then the decision making, right? What is our top priority, right? Sustaining macro level economy, or focusing on micro level economy. I think in traditional, from my observation, traditional, I would say economy, the priority is macro economy, right? So access to foreign exchange, access to investments, all of those would first happen at the macro layer, because they understand it's going to trigger down to micro, right? That same type of, we've not really seen what the Web3
Can do.
we've not really seen
full
what is going to be
potential.
the priority, because we're attacking the problems from multiple angles. Like with ourselves, we're focused on business, but we'll also want to focus on my grammar, right? That is so, but we've not really, it's not formed, right? And unfortunately, there might be a potential that it might form to be the same like traditional, where the priorities
if we think
might
of
be
it the same way.
the priorities might be a lot more macro, right? Let's focus on macro trends and hope that it triggers, right?
But you guys are
Bottom
hoping,
up thing.
that's what I was saying. So you guys are hoping this is very peer-to-peer driven.
So
and grows
I
from.
would say we're attacking it from both angles, right?
Yeah.
Because the issue we have, especially with Africa, is like where is the money?
Yes.
The money is in B2B,
Yes.
right? That's where the transactions happen. Those are the importers, right? But
Yes.
then why are they doing that? They're doing that for the B2C,
Yes.
because they're importing to do whatsoever to sell
support
the product.
markets and grow our
Right.
markets. Yeah.
So to us, it's like, what if we have a model here where we're able to service the B2B and also the B2C? We'll have a diverse model. So maybe now that may put us on the driver's seat to actually give a picture of like what is going to look like in the future, right?
Yeah.
Is it going to be B2B the focus, right?
Yeah.
And it triggers down, or can we also focus as much? Can we put as much resources on B2C as we do on B2B, right?
And I think just to add to that, building in Web3 and building with blockchain tech, it doesn't. I feel like I guess maybe this is my mind, but you can design the new rules, right?
Okay.
You don't have to just. And I think it goes what we just said earlier. You don't have to copy and paste from Web 2 and bring it to Web 3. You know, if typical venture capital is doing this, but now you have DAOs,
Yes.
decentralized autonomous organizations, which is doing investing same type of rapid pace, but then they get much more access because there is a seeing exactly all the deal flows.
Yeah.
So you don't. I feel like as a developer or entrepreneur, when you think about the Web3 space,
Yeah.
at least have your eyes and ears open of maybe I can write the rules, I can build the code to design this new type of paradigm.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's the same way open source has changed, software over time,
It's just
right?
this open source streamlined type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And that sounds amazing because, as you said, you are just scratching the surface of Web3, right? Yeah. And I still feel, even at Africa Talking, I feel like a majority of Africans and, even the world itself is still in 2G technology.
Exactly.
As much as it's up to 5G technology. And any business that actually wants to bring this 2G to Web3 and 5G kind of technology, you need to create the bridge.
Yep.
What is the bridge in Canza Finance for this to happen?
I would say our bridge is actually having he keeps saying just localization, right? We don't really want to we don't believe in transformation. We don't want to change your behaviors. Right? That's it's like it's almost like you like a meal and we're just maybe changing the plate.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're just changing just little things about the delivery, right? Yeah. But I believe that has been our bridge, right? Like our bridge to the B2B space, for example, is the FX agents, right? So I would say that's been it for us.
And just to add to that, right? If I'm, and this is what I enjoyed about this trip. So in 2015, the only information pertaining to mobile money was M-Pesa.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did massive research on that. So when I got here now, I'm like, okay, I see this because everyone talks about it.
Yes.
If you want to talk about the success of blockchain and Bitcoin to scale rapidly, they always go back to M-Pesa.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So now being here, if I were to do anything in East Africa, localization, Africa's talking is the infrastructure here.
Yeah.
I can't just come with you with his blockchain and Solidity Ethereum. Start building with this. You guys, this is the infrastructure here. We have to build on Africa's token APIs to really get access to the people that's using that.
Yeah.
So,
I'll talk still on the products from Canza. Something very interesting so in Kenya, for instance, in the last couple of years, I think the total asset under management by SACCOs is over 400 billion shillings, $4 billion. And that's we can call it peer-to-peer, but it's like many peers putting money together with one. Ideally, a SACCO could actually be a decentralized autonomous organization.
Yeah.
So number one is there's huge liquidity, only that it's maybe stuck. Probably stuck in some legacy systems. And then the other problem, which you probably have heard of so far, is rate of lending.
Yes,
the
micro lending.
The amount that you have to, the cost of credit for the small businesses, which they pay, by the way.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, happily.
But higher interest rates.
Yeah, because you get some interest rates are as high as 3,000% per year.
Crazy.
But it's calculated because people pay daily. You take in the morning at 4 a.m., you take a loan. At 6 p.m., you pay with interest happily because you've made the money. I mean, it's bottom of the pyramid transactions. That's, So my question actually is, looking at the products you have, what product has taken the best, so much traction for you now? And also just with a context of this is the lay of the land, how things could be if you just adopted some of these legacy systems to use decentralized finance. It will even make money move faster, because if I have money and I don't know what to do with it, I can put it out for a loan and someone across Africa. It could even facilitate the realization of moving of capital across Africa. Because I don't care who takes my money. If I just put it on the blockchain, you take it, just get it back to me at an agreed rate at a certain time. I mean, I don't know if I'm communicating
No,
the,
you're saying the perfect.
impact of that.
I'd say.
So what?
Say this. So I think I mentioned earlier within our dApps ecosystem, and we use Africa's token for that. We have the USSD code. You know, we created 5,000 wallets within like a month or so, all through the USSD platform.
Serious?
And so that goes back to your bridge of you're using the APIs to connect them to create wallets, and that was wallets within DeFi and blockchain. So that's the Web2 and Web3 combined.
Yes, combined.
So if you use the USSD, you create a wallet within the Canza ecosystem on our dApps. Then now you can go to the malware.
Yes.
And then do that loan that you just mentioned.
Yes.
So now you're combining all those three sections that you just, and that's the lending and borrowing with all within Jollofi. So you see how it's all interoperable with all the right Lego blocks that you can just shuffle and then you can plug and play.
So you
That's how
see
look at
a
software,
product like Jollofi playing in the Sacco space very easily.
Oh yes, for sure.
Interesting.
Sure, because now you have your rural area exposure.
Yes.
Right. All you have is that Nokia small phone. Flashlight. Right. Flashlight.
It's called Mulika Muiz.
So you have that in the village now, but you have an account. Because you have a Web3 address, you have a blockchain address. But then now I can do that loan and use that because the only reason why we got to the rural areas is because we do an infrastructure and with 2G.
Yes.
But in the background, when it connects to our server, then we're doing 3G into the blockchain.
So for those guys who don't know Swahili, Mulika Mwizi is a feature phone.
Okay,
but
okay.
the Swahili word means point out.
Flashlight.
So like imagine you're in a house and somebody creeps in and you can hear somebody walking in your house. You probably reach out for your flashlight and point where's that guy. So that action is Mulika Mwizi. But the tool, which is usually just the feature phone, they all got that general
That is
name.
nice.
Yeah, sure.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But I would say what gets a lot of traction today, right, is cross-border payments of Jara network, and that's where we're seeing a lot of traction. And we did about, I think right now, 16 million in about 4 months.
Oh, that's serious.
And a lot of
And that's a tip of. I don't even know if it's a tip of the iceberg. One sand on this t-shirt.
Yeah, it's I mean, from very small amount of customers, right? So but then that was very important for us because we got to understood that okay, if we can do X with X amount of customers, then this is like, huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. And it so happened that traction is a result of the devaluation and the difficulties which a lot of businesses are having to get their imported goods, right? To pay for the imported goods. So
I mean, how is the rationale there? Like, what facilitates all the people?
So what a value proposition there is why source for the US dollar at the premium, 40% premium in secondary, tertiary markets.
Okay.
While we can offer you stable cryptocurrency to do the same.
Okay.
So essentially, if your issue was just holding an asset that is a lot more less volatile, then instead of the US dollar, you could just buy stable cryptocurrency, right? But then these are businesses, their issues don't end there, right? Of course, they want to secure their hard-earned money, but then they want to keep the business operational. So that cross-border payment needs to be there.
Yes.
So with us, it's like we give you access to the stable crypto, and then we also help you facilitate those payments using a lot of partners similar to us, right? So it's a very like relationship-based network.
Yes.
It's crazy because like they talk about correspondence banking. Right?
Okay.
But I think,
Yes.
I think
Legacy.
I think even in the crypto space, there's correspondence, whatever that
Networks.
is.
Maybe, I don't know.
So it's like there's a lot of like, and this is very important. There's a lot of human behaviors that have existed for such a long time
Yes.
that we are going to take that into Web3.
Okay.
It's going to Web3 regardless, right? So the technology will change, the experience will change, but there's just certain things about us that are still going to exist there. And that's what I was talking about when I said we've not yet seen what the
Web3 could
what it's
become.
going to become like from an economic standpoint, right? So yeah, that's kind of my approach.
Yes, so I think there's one pertinent thing with Web3 as we speak. The the information and the knowledge about it. Even some or majority of devs don't really fully understand what Web3 is, and that's why even we have not like had a maximum potential.
Even the
in terms
traction
of,
to
even the
adopt it.
traction,
Yes.
So
yes.
Kansas City, since you're part of the leading, companies towards this. Any initiative to ensure that at least there is knowledge or support knowledge sharing?
The education and outreach is a very core fundamental.
Yeah.
We started very early on in 2017 with like an outreach grant from Zcash Foundation.
Okay.
So I was talking about financial and then privacy aspects of the cryptocurrency to African American students.
Okay.
But through that, we've Pascal have always, but that those exercises through outreach, which led us into let's build products because we understand when you're talking, when you get past the surface layer of the price is this, the price is that, the technology is what mattered. So now we have multiple different MOUs with universities.
Nice.
From the US side as well as within Nigeria as well, trying to expand. But we do, we've got a couple of grants with some of our partners to do outreach, and we do a lot of workshops and things like that. So
Let's talk about that part, because also at Africa's Talking is something we've been thinking about for a very long time. Just take us through how you think about partnering with universities and accessing grants to train, because definitely one of the strategies that you may find very, very powerful is partnering with even more universities across the continent. One of the things I learned specifically from Cairo, there's the American University in Cairo.
I've been past there.
The fastest way to introduce your culture to a society is to partner with a university.
Yes.
Because when I went to Cairo, I can bet Cairo is the most Americanized city in Africa.
Sure.
But if you look at the reasons, it's probably one of the influences of the American university in Cairo. So bringing in a new concept, new idea, going with the universities. A lot of people overlook this. People don't want to give internships. People don't want to work through universities. But the fact that you've mentioned that is very, very powerful. That's where you have the people who will adopt this technology, the Gen Zs, will developers, everything in that ecosystem. Just take us to how you think about that. And do you have to split your company so that or have a subsidiary that applies for the grants? Well, just talk about that a bit.
No, for sure. I think I mentioned earlier, like I come from a really research type of
background. Yes.
So like always being involved in the school has always been like a priority of mine. So the school as well, it gives you access to users, right? It gives users, right? So if you're looking at them from a community part, yes, you have developers there, right? You got people that's doing their master's thesis, their senior project. So they're going to build off infrastructure tools like your own APIs. So that's really way. But I think the Web3 core, the peer-to-peer, is community building. So being in the community, that's how you scale out, because you need other people's input. I think within the open source space, you see that everything is free out there. Now you can build on top of that. So I think going within the developers, building that, being social, creating Telegram groups or WhatsApp groups, etc., everything is community driven based. So yes, the students in school give you a perfect base for that, and then you have young innovative people, because it's not my parents that are going to be coding on Web3.
It's true,
right? It's this Gen Z,
young guys,
TikToker guys, and all these new players, because they're forming these new paradigms.
Even they are the ones who accept that concept.
Exactly.
The fastest.
Exactly. I think that's where we're, and obviously, like I said, we do the workshops, and then I think the concept of when you do things in the social impact space, you do it with the right mindset, the business part's going to come, because through social impact, there's always going to be these side things. You talk to somebody that
it's like creating
introduce you.
demand.
Exactly.
Not you like saying this is business.
And in terms of like the resource towards that, right? Because obviously just the business already requires a lot. Right? And I think I can, safely say at Canza Finance, we made sure everyone is a leader, right? Like, it doesn't matter what role you have, you're in a position of leadership. And there's certain responsibilities that come with that, right? Education is one of them. So pretty much I would say almost like, I would say a good chunk of the company, right, that just has this, hey, there's an event going on there, go and be part of it. Oh, there's this opportunity to go educate this group of people about cryptocurrency, go be part of it. And so we've just built that culture where it doesn't feel like, we feel like it's part of a role, right? But it's not per se like on your role description. I would say it's kind of like our responsibility. Honestly, we feel like it's a responsibility that comes with what we're doing, to go out there and educate, allocate time to ensure that we're educating folks, we're building the right relationships with universities, and we always keep them engaged. Internships as well. We've had some internships in Nigeria. We've had internships also from what's the school in London, Oxford, right? Quite interestingly.
Oh, that's interesting.
So like we are always plugged in, right, to the universities, and it's quite interesting. Like I would say the university students today are a lot sophisticated. They know what you're talking about, right? I was talking in a university in Nigeria, and I was talking about crypto, and I think the students probably didn't want to indicate that they're trading crypto, so they were all acting like they don't know. But they were coming right after the conference, they were asking me some really sophisticated questions. And I was like, how did you know about that? And they're like, oh, I built like 3 dApps.
Wow.
Nice.
So it's like the students are such a great resource, right? So like you can I would even say, before you go out there to the general public, go to the students and see what your impact there could be.
Like the Twitter, the Discord, that's where they, you have to bridge that gap, right? This is what they're using, so create those communication channels. So that's how I see it.
Be where they are.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like the idea you've really built up with the community. One of the challenges the community has is raising that, which is why I was very excited when you're talking about writing grants and being one of the challenges community leaders have is raising money. So is it that
Getting
maybe
resources.
getting resources? Is it that maybe and also it's not always obvious that you'll get a grant. That's another trick. But of course, coming from education background, research, you probably have honed the skills. But is there also something to do with aligning with a brand? Because of course, if Canza Finance asks for a grant to do something, or a partnership, a social impact partnership, it's easy to find there's some maybe easy, maybe not, to find support. How do you see that space, especially?
I think
How do we make community sustainable? Basically, that's a very important question.
okay, the community sustainable aspect, when it comes towards filling out applications and things, I think that comes from just like the American aspect of it's very document. Like I feel like if anyone doing visas or passports and things, you see how very like stressful, straining it is, right? It's very so. But those type of applications are in academia space. Like all this research comes from academia space. That's why when you develop it on GitHub now, you see those are even like the DAO applications and all these other things. So I think number one, it's a numbers game as well. But like I said about the 2017, our first project in blockchain space was my head of computer science. I said, I want to go and bring a workshop here, because when I defended my thesis, it was just for people that have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
So it's like each one of these grants have an outreach or education or resource. So how do we frame this? Institution, and then our company, and then that's how we
got some
right. So with the institution, that's going to give you a little bit more to what you said, is that brand aspect. Even though I had nothing, like it was just me. That was the first stepping stone. You just got to keep building. It's always hard. It's like when people say it's a make your first million or whatever. It's always hard to do the first step. Right. But once after that, you just keep building upon that. But like I said, with you have education institution exposure. You have your own value that you can bring. Then you can apply.
No, I think that just says something here that's like, again, another secret weapon. Applications. There was this time when I think the Ghanaian government had put up like they were willing to like fund any fintech that could facilitate remittance into Ghana.
Serious?
About $100,000. Yes.
Wow.
And I had so it's just like, I mean, I gave up on that one, which was funny, but like it was my early experience into learning never give up, right? I sent an email, like customized emails to about like 70 something Chamber of Commerces,
Okay.
Ghanaian Chamber of Commerces around the world, and none of them responded.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh my God, this is like, it's not materializing to anything. I wasted my energy, right? But then I met Deji, and he's quite different when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
Tenacious.
He's just going to say, hey, let's apply for grants. Okay, how many grants are we applying for? 1,000. I'm looking at him like, how the heck are we going to do it? And then the two of us are trying to derive a method we're going to use. Okay, we're going to use this Google Docs, post all the questions. That way, when we see similar things, we just copy and paste. We're gonna hire friends and pay them like, $50 to apply
Spelling
to
and
stuff.
grammar.
And then just like that, we've scaled and we've applied for 500 things, even though we may not even get all of them, right?
But yeah,
it's
that's huge. Yeah.
But the thing is, rejection, right? I feel like as a founder, you need to understand that like rejection is going to be very, 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 very common.
Yeah.
And with us, I think we're just built different, maybe our personality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just love rejections. It's just like we love.
Just energize
Do
yourself.
you think like you get
Hey.
lessons from rejections?
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
Like we
You gotta-
feed
like,
off.
even with the coding aspect, fail fast. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, true.
Like there's no problem. I'm gonna build a perfect solution. No one's gonna use it.
Yeah, sure.
So just get to market, fail fast, come back, and then you keep reiterating. It's the same thing in the
You know,
software
that's a
development
big
cycle.
problem
Nice.
for so many companies.
Yeah.
They want to perfect it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before even you launch.
Yes. Before even the customer tells you, maybe I like it, you just want to keep perfecting it.
Yeah.
So this is very important point to take home.
Yeah.
Fail fast.
So we just
fail
we
quickly.
just-
Exactly.
Yeah, those rejections. I think if we had to summarize our experience
Yes.
in career-wise in a non-corporate setting, it's been rejection. I think that's, if a word has to come up a lot, it will be rejection.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's why I brought up that point of when you get into the venture capital space, etc. They're gonna ask you, are you into this full time or what's the mission? Because you really got to be dedicated to that, right? And if you're not dedicated, if it's like I'm riding a bike and it's like there's a hill or something, if I don't really want to get across that hill, I'm gonna quit.
That's it.
So after 2 or 3 rejections, if you don't really care about the problem or what you're trying to solve, you're just gonna go do something else. So don't really just chase the money aspect. Chase of the part of the passion. So that's a big. I'm sorry. That's a big thing I tell anybody that asks me questions. And I was like, "Do you have passion for this?" A lot of people, younger friends, family network. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. But do you have the passion? That's the only requirement I ask. Because if you have passion, passion's the one that's 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Why are you gonna keep going?
Yeah.
If you don't have passion, you're gonna go to sleep.